Good day, everyone, especially our FEDUC 2 students. We will now commence on studying philosophy and education, but before that, let us have an overview of what philosophy is. This is the first lesson in the philosophical foundations of education. Of course, having this lesson will help you define the basic concepts of philosophy. Are you ready? I think you are. So let us go over the different uh, branches of philosophy. Let us first define what is philosophy. It is derived from the Greek words philo, which means love, and sophos or sophia, which means wise or wisdom. So combining the two, we have philosophy as love for wisdom. It is a quest for truth based on logical reasoning and factual observations. So why is philosophy there? Its purpose is to seek and prove the ultimate and absolute truth. So for this, it is considered the mother of all sciences. Now let's talk about the branches of philosophy. So we have metaphysics, epistemology, axiology, logic. So let us try to examine each branch of philosophy. Let's first discuss metaphysics. It originated from the thought of Aristotle, who first introduced it as meta, the physica, which means the thing of nature. So basically, it deals with the nature of being and reality. So when we say metaphysics, it explains a person's most fundamental concept, such as substance, existence, essence, truth, space, time, causation, and the nature of God, as well as the origin and purpose of the universe, the purpose and nature of a person's existence, the problem of the relation of body and mind, the problem of freedom, and other philosophical and universal entities. Metaphysics is further subdivided into three. So we have cosmology, teleology, and ontology. Cosmology, it explains the theories, origin, and development of the nature. It also considers evolution and creation as possible origin of the cosmos. As regards teleology, it is the branch of metaphysics which tries to elucidate on subjects pertaining to whether or not there is purpose in the universe. It holds that the world and the universe have been there from the beginning, from a certain purpose which can be discerned in history. Lastly, we have ontology. It deals with the meaning of existence, and it tries to resolve the question of whether existence is identical with space, time, nature, spirit, or God. So therefore, a philosophy of a person may vary to another person. So depending on what he perceives or what he sees in, for example, in a nature. So each can have varied philosophy because philosophy deals with uh, thinking, establishing the truth based on their purpose, reasoning out based from the truth, so things like that. But dealing with metaphysics, we have this reality and we have this existence of a thing. If we put the metaphysics in the educational context, uh, as we reviewed the idea, education is the process of acquiring knowledge, habits, interests, attitudes, skills, and abilities, and other intangible human qualities. So it would be deemed incomplete unless it is founded with the ultimate end of catering to the development of individuals' natural and innate capacities. So in here, we are trying to get or to explain the nature of existence of a thing. So we might ask, what is the very cause of everything? So since humans have this capacity to think, that is his very nature, so applying the metaphysics in education, they believe that human beings must remain free of external restraints in order to decide for themselves. That is why, as an application, all curricula from grade school to the university level must be designed to liberate the mind of a person and must offer subjects that will give provisions for values as well as intellectual development. Another is that the learners should enjoy academic freedom, which is vital to self-development. Another thing is that it stresses that each individual must be given freedom to choose, but along with that freedom, good or evil, it has a corresponding consequence. So it's like we are free to do everything that we want to do, but we have the responsibility whatever result it will bring us. You are free to decide, but you have to accept the risk of that decision. So remember that exponents of this metaphysics focused on moral and intellectual development of a person. So just like in DepEd today, so teachers have the academic freedom as long as the content is aligned with the learning competency. The teachers have the freedom to choose, to plan, and to decide her lesson and execute it, employing the different teaching strategies. And in college, every student has this academic freedom wherein they are free to choose what course are they going to take. Moving on to epistemology. From the Greek word episteme, which means knowledge or science, and logos, which means study of. So it is concerned with the study of knowledge. It tries to answer, what is knowledge? Where does knowledge come from? How do we acquire knowledge of right and wrong? How do we gain knowledge of God? How do we know whether God does or does not exist? Let's take a look at the subdivisions of epistemology. We have agnosticism, skepticism, a posteriori, a priori. Agnosticism is the doctrine that conclusive knowledge of ultimate reality is an outright impossibility. So it claims that it is impossible for a person to prove either the existence or non-existence of God. So it is also applicable to any theory of knowledge which claims that it is impossible for one to attain knowledge of something. We also have this skepticism. It is the doctrine that any true knowledge is impossible or that all knowledge is uncertain. So it also means having a questioning attitude toward the possibility of having any knowledge. Let us have a posteriori. So this is the reasoning that experience comes first and knowledge afterwards. So this term comes from a Latin phrase, from behind hand, or the term is used to determine knowledge that comes from experience. So meaning to say you cannot obtain knowledge if you do not have any experience. A priori, this is the opposite of a posteriori. So this is the reasoning that knowledge can be acquired through pure reason alone, independently, and perhaps before experience. So it means from beforehand. So meaning to say you can have that knowledge even without any experience. So you can obtain that knowledge maybe through reading books, through traveling, whatsoever. So it's obtaining knowledge independently before experience. Putting epistemology in the context of education, it is the aim of education for a learner to achieve intellectual development through the acquisition of knowledge. And that knowledge will be imparted by the teachers. But today, knowledge is being shared by the teacher and students. So in the classroom setting, we cannot, as teachers, we cannot monopolize the ideas. We have to also let our students share their ideas. That is why it is called teaching learning process. Teachers and learners both learn from each other in the process. So education should also develop the total personality of individual, stress or emphasizing on intellectual growth. So remember, from Comenius, education must enable a person to know all things, say all things, and do all things. So that is why through this epistemology, a learner can be or can develop the capacity to think rationally, reason out logically, and act prudently or wisely. So when we say total personality, it is a development in and out of a person. Now let's deal with axiology. It is the area of philosophy that specifically deals with the problem of value. So it seeks to rationalize questions like what is value? What are the important values which are to be desired in living? Are these values rooted in reality? How can these values be realized in our daily experiences? Axiology has two subdivisions. We have ethics and aesthetics. So let's first deal with ethics. These are practical sciences that deal with the morality of human action or conduct. It comes from the Greek word ethos, which means a characteristic way of acting. So when we say morality, it is the quality of human acts which can be right or wrong, good or evil. So how do we know that our actions are right? And how do we know that our actions are wrong, good or evil? That is why for teachers, we are guided by the Code of Ethics of Professional Teachers. From there, enumerated what are the values or what are the actions that must be performed by the teachers in the service, and what possible consequence if the teacher violates such a rule, for example. We also have the aesthetics or beauty and standards of taste and values, especially in art. So it is the science of feeling or sensation. From the Greek word aesthetic, which means the one who perceives. John Ruskin said, education does not mean teaching people to learn what they do not know, but it means teaching them to behave as they do not behave. So, education should not only give provisions for intellectual and personality development, but also a values formation as well as appreciation of what is beautiful in the world where one lives. It is also said that an educated person is a cultured person. So one who has acquired knowledge through the education process is expected to conform to the moral standards of his or her society. Especially for the teachers, we are role models in words, in thinking, and in actions. So we must be a cultured person above anyone else. We also have logic. Is concerned with systematic treatment of the relation of ideas, from the Greek word logia, which means argument, or logike, which means art of reasoning. So it begins with Aristotle, who was concerned with ascribing deeper meanings to objects. So under the logic, we have induction, from specific to general, deduction from general to specific, syllogism, argumentation in which a conclusion is derived from two propositions, and dialectics, it's discovering the truth. In the educational context, of course, it is not enough that a person is able to know, think, and reason out. He must also do this correctly, or in other words, logically. So the person who thinks right and reasons out right does right actions. So education, therefore, is expected to develop young minds to think and reason out logically based on the concrete facts and not on mere speculation or hearsay. So this time, let us have an overview of the philosophical orientation of the Philippine educational system, starting from the pre-Spanish period. During the Spanish period, American era, Japanese occupation, and the post-war Philippines. So these laws have improved, and through time, educational system was developed, addressing the needs of the Filipinos. As we study philosophy, remember that our philosophy is our window to the world and compass in the sea of life. So this philosophy will help a person to look at life as a whole. It will also determine how to treat people, how to govern thoughts, decisions, actions, relationships with people. Thank you for listening.